All right, so I still have on my grumpy shirt. This is the third video right now. Batch recording. If you're a YouTube person, you know what I'm talking about. This is my last video that you're gonna see me in this shirt. This property was bought in the same neighborhood as the last video that I just made. It's actually on the same street. So if we take a look at this, it was a few years later. It wasn't back to back. So at that time, prices had already started going up. You know, the last one I sold for $12,500 or whatever it was, $11,500. This one I actually bought and was all in for $12,385.32. That's with closing costs. My contract price was $11,387.52. So that was the price that I offered the seller, but then I always pay for closing costs. And I don't remember the story. I don't remember why the person sold it to me. I think they were just trying to get rid of it or whatever. But this one was interesting because this was the first time that I brought in partners' money. So I had a buddy that was he had been watching what I was doing. He was very interested in what I was doing. Rather than going through the program himself and doing his own mailings and we're in the same area, we'll be competing with each other. I said, hey, why don't you be my money guy? You put up the money and then we'll take a percentage of sales. We'll split up the profit at the end. So he agreed to that. And I can't remember how much I gave him. I don't know. I think I gave him a percentage of the ownership. The way I do it now is I try to set it up where I give them a percentage on their money. So I might say, you give me $10,000 to buy the property, I'm gonna give you a 20% return when we sell it, or whatever the profit is if it's less than that. And so that way, they don't get those big, huge, you know, when you make $30,000, $40,000 on a property, you don't want them to start wanting bigger and bigger chunks of it. But you gotta be fair. So I'm still experimenting with how to do that, but it's really fun to do it with other people's money because you can buy more properties. You don't have to worry as much about the velocity of money. So right now I have 3 to 4 people that are willing to give me money when I find a good deal. That's really a cool thing to do. And then what I do is I go to them and I say, hey, my main money guy, I always give him the first right of refusal because he's funded deals before, but it also adds a little bit of pressure for him to fund a deal because he knows if you don't fund it, I'm gonna go to my next money guy. And he also knows that these deals need to close fast, so I need an answer fast. So he's got 24 hours to decide if he's gonna fund the deal. And so that's an interesting thing that you can do. Now, people aren't just gonna hand over their money, probably, until you have a little bit of a track record. So I always suggest getting a program, going through it, start doing flips. And then once you've done a couple land flips and once you've made some profit, then you'll start realizing, I mean, some of my money people, I didn't know that they had money saved up in a savings account. Some people are very good at saving money. And so just think about that. Now, how did I sell this one? This one I listed on a MLS listing service. So I paid like 150 bucks. I found a guy on Facebook. I sent him out to take some drone pictures. I posted those. The properties that were in the area at the time were selling between $32,000 and $42,000. So I think I listed this one for 32.5 or 32, maybe it was 31,500, something like that. Anyway, got a call from a guy from California. And this one was, you know, in that last neighborhood, which was Central Florida. So I told him, hey, this is how much I want. And he kept trying to negotiate with me. And I said, I'll go down to 30. And he started rubbing me the wrong way. So I said, 30's my bottom. And he's like, no, I need a good deal. I need this. And I said, look, buddy, if you look online at the recently sold stuff, the number's going up. And so right now, this is worth 30,000 all day long. It's worth 32,000 all day long. So you can buy it or you cannot buy it, but I'm not going to go down below 30. And he said, well, then I'm not going to buy it. And I said, okay, have a good day. That was it, I thought. He called me back a few days later and said, well, I'm going to have to come see the property. I might get it for 30,000, but I'm going to have to come see it. And I said, please don't call me again until you're ready to close. You can come see it. You cannot come see it. I know the property's in the area. And he had bought properties in that area before, so he was just playing games. And I was done playing games because I knew I was going to sell it. You know, once you get to a point where you know that you made a good purchase, I mean, we bought it for, what did I say, $12,000? I mean, come on. I knew I was going to get, I might sell it for less than 30. I just didn't want to sell it for less than 30 to him. He came back, he wanted to buy it. So I said, I will send you a contract via email and I need it back in, I think I gave him 3 days. The program that I learned to do, there is a line in there that basically says if we don't have this contract back by this date, then the contract's null and void. So it kind of puts a timeline. It forces them to make a decision. So he got it back to me. I got my stuff to the title company. He never did come to the area. Title company mailed him everything. I think they called it mail away closing, whatever. They got all the documents from him, got the money from him, worked as the escrow agent, got it all taken care of. Sold it for $30,000. Walked out with, after all the closing costs, and there was some kind of settlement charge extra. So it cost about $1,590, but I walked away with $28,408.49. When you take out the amount that we put up, which was like $12,500 or $13,500, all my numbers are run together, $12,385. We'll round it up to $12,500. That's still a really good spread. And then me and my money guy split that, right? So I didn't put in any money into this deal, but I got a huge chunk back. And the cool thing about this one was from the time I bought it, before I even bought it, I had the drone guy go out and start taking pictures, because remember, this was a gated community, but I already had the gate code, because anytime I go into a gated community to look at a piece of land, I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but I write down the code so that every time I go back, if I have another piece of land in that community, I can get in, take pictures, and not have to have a bunch of headaches. So I had already went out, took pictures of the pools, the theater, all this, and the weight room, blah, blah, blah. And then I also had the drone, my guy off Facebook that does the drone pictures. And I'm telling you, go on Facebook for drone pictures. There might be some legal stuff, so I'm not a legal advisor, so check with your legal advisor. But guy off of Facebook that I found, he'd send me pictures for 50 or 100 bucks. I think it was 50 bucks for photos, 100 bucks for video and photo. But I already had that all set up. I already had filled out everything on the MLS listing service. And whenever I bought the property, as soon as the paperwork was signed and my money was gone, before it even got recorded at the county recorder's office, I immediately listed it for sale. I sold it within 2 weeks to this guy from California, and then we closed about 2 weeks later. So from the time I bought it to the time I sold it was right around a month, maybe 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. So you think my money partner was happy with that turnaround? You better believe it was, and it was his first deal he did with me. So I knew I had to close fast because his wife wanted to make sure that money didn't disappear. And so when she saw that the money went in and the money came out fairly quickly, and it was a really good chunk for the amount invested, now they're ready to do more deals and more deals and more deals. And that's how he turned into my main money guy. So that's something to think about. Now, the other thing that I'll say about that is we're just scratching the surface. So there's a lot of different types of land out there, different types of deals. So I'm just kind of going through them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, telling you the lessons I've learned, telling you what to expect if you go through one of these land programs. But you can click on my next video and it's going to go through one of my other deals. And since I'm batch recording tonight, I'm not going to know what that next one is till I look at it when I make the video. But go ahead and click on that video. I'm sure it's a good one. I'm not grumpy.